Hi folks, this is Rose from In Rose's Garden, and today we're going to work on a pair of alligator clips for your hair using a few pieces from our Jessie James Beads Mini Mix Spring Song. So let's turn down and I'll show you what we're going to do. These will only take a few minutes. Okay, what we have here is a pair of alligator clips. And some leaves I have already painted green. They were brass, as you can see from this side. And these are the pieces from the Jessie James Beads Mini Mix. Aren't these pretty flowers? So then, and then I've got some big, well, crystals from that company that says we're not supposed to name them anymore. Though we all know who those are. So what we're going to do is we're going to take two of these leaves and glue them on either side. Then you'll notice I've put one of the crystals in the middle of the flower. And then we're going to put the flower across these and we'll glue them all onto our alligator clip. So like I say, this will only take a few minutes probably to do. But I do want to get my silicone mat first. I use my silicone mat because if you get stuff on it, it usually will just come right back off. And if it doesn't, oh well, it doesn't really harm anything because, well, it's a silicone mat. It's designed for using with glue and paint and such. So we'll get our things over here onto this side and we'll get our glue here. We'll use E6000, of course. There we go. And then we're going to, like I say, we're going to take and we're going to glue one leaf on this side, one leaf on this side, and then the flower in the middle, and then the crystal in that. So like they'll look like this. So let's just get the glue out and do that. Looks like these are pretty well will fit on here fine, though. Looks like they could do a little bit of yeah. Now I do have tiny clothespins that I will hold things down if it decides to give me any issues with the okay. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to glue our leaves on, then we'll glue the flowers on, and then the crystal inside of that. This doesn't want to open, so hopefully that loosened it enough. Yes, it did. One thing about E6000, it tends to get around the edge here, and then it sticks your barrel closed, and it's already coming out, as you can see. Now these ones are not necessary to really pay a lot of attention to what's front and back, I mean which is which side, because, well, they're exactly the same side to side. So let's get this lid back on before we get too much of a glue going everywhere. We'll start gluing our leaves on. Let that sit for a few moments. Look, get it on your fingers. And that's why I try to keep a paper towel over here when I'm painting or gluing, because I always seem to get myself. Now I'm going to flip these over carefully and see where they're sitting on this side. This one seems to be a little crooked, and it's up a little high too, as well as being crooked. So you want to this one seems to be more where I want it than this one is trying to be. Oh, that's better. So we'll just let those dry for a few moments before we put the flower on. Okay, we've let them dry for a few minutes, but I really need to let them dry longer. But now we'll put our flower on. And since I'm going to put it with these two petals over here, I'm going to just do like this. And then flip it and lower it down into place. Then we'll do the same with this second one. Now the last thing we need to do to finish these off is put a little glue in the center and then put our crystal in. So we'll just put a drop of glue in here. Then we're going to take our crystal. Normally I would pick these up with a tweezers, but this is a big crystal and the tweezers won't go around it. So fingernails at it again. Come on, baby, go in there. I think that looks pretty good. So we'll check the back to make sure they haven't done any big slides. They're looking pretty good. And now they have to set aside for about 15-20 minutes, and then we'll come back and pick out any extra glue. Okay, by extra glue I mean these little globs that came through the leaf here. There's actually a little bit right here on the flower too, but I'm not sure we can get that out. So right now I'm just going to worry about the leaf blobs. And don't forget to wipe the glue off of your tweezers, because once it hardens all the way, you'll never get it off. go. Looking good on that side. So now we'll get the extra glue off of this leaf. It doesn't look like there's hardly any on that side, but there is a few blobs over here on this side. But very few, actually, amazingly enough. Okay, wipe the excess glue off. And this baby, these are done. Now I'm going to, these need to sit in the drying tray to dry for 24 hours before they're set up all the way. So there we go. Aren't those pretty? So that was our alligator clips using the big pretty flower from out of Jessie James Beads' Bead Mix Spring Song. Now I'd show you these to you better, but well, I can, but I got to be real careful because they're still very wet and I don't want to. See, here's the one. And this is a set of 2. This is, see if I can get this, hold of this without worrying about. Well, there's number 2. Now, I'm not going to hold them up very long because, like I say, their glue is still very wet. They need to go into the drying tray for 24 hours, and then they'll be usable. So, for drying tray, I mean this beautiful little black box. And we're going to carefully set the 2 of these into here so they can finish drying. This has been Rose from In Rose's Garden, and we've been using the Jessie James Beads Spring Song mini mix, particularly the big flowers that were in the middle of these, for these beautiful alligator clips. We'll see you later. Bye-bye.